guys, what's up? It's Joe Ready from Rady's Rides. I'm back at Furman Mazda, sunny Clearwater, Florida. And guess what? We're bringing another Mazda to you. We got a 2019 Mazda 6. This one is the Signature Edition. So let's talk a little bit about Mazda. Mazda's been around since 1921, but it wasn't selling cars. It was actually producing cork, of all things. 1930s, they made their first vehicle called the Mazda Go. It was a three-wheeled vehicle, and really what did it for me and get me to fall in love with Mazda was the rotary-powered engines, those RX-7s. You know, the first Japanese car company to ever win the 24-hour of Le Mans with a rotary-powered car. So not only were they a Japanese car company, the first ever to win the race, the first one to ever do it with a rotary engine powered car. Now, fast forward to the 21st century, they got a nice lineup, something for everybody, including if you're full out top down fun, they got the Miata, they got a plethora of SUVs, and this is still a favorite of many people, the Mazda 6. Let's go ahead and take a look. Now, for 2018, this car featured a total redesign. I know a lot of you, some people have been chiming in, stop moving your hands. This one's for you. Wax on, wax off. But anyways, they did a total redesign of the exterior from front and back and also on the inside. Plus with this Signature series, you're gonna have a lot of nice amenities. Let's go into the styling. Right off the bat, they hit the nail right on the head. No fake vents. Can you believe that in the 21st century? I love the beautiful pearl white color, tasteful silver trim, and I really think that when it comes to headlights and taillights, they make such a signature headlight and taillight. It just gives the car a sinister look, even with it being a sedan, believe it or not. And I love that style with the chrome into the grille. Think it's very smart that they don't just do like a solid grate like you see on a lot of cars. I like this style of grille, that massive Mazda logo there, so iconic. All the hidden radar and sensory technology is hidden behind that for your adaptive cruise control and whatnot. Very, very tasteful front fascia. I like the way that this lower lip is all integrated, comes out enough to give it some character, but very, very classy, but also sinister looking front of a car, all wrapped into one. Going up onto the hood, I think Mazda does it great where they start their body line here and it goes all the way into that hood. I like the nice raised portion, gives it character, gives it personality, because remember, at the end of the day, this is going up against Honda's Accord, this is going up against the Toyota Camry, and you've seen the front of those things. There's a lot of character, mate. Now, is it character that a lot of you love? I don't know, but this thing, classy, classy, classy. As we come around the fender area, love the style of wheel. Even with the white, it works great. 19-inch wheel. This is the fully loaded one, the Signature one. I almost want to call it the John Hancock. If you know your U.S. history, you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, 19-inch wheel, love the style. Just enough flare to it where it looks good. Coming into the side, look at the body line. I love how it goes from the top of the fender down into the door and then it just disappears. Perfect. They took the white, they brought it onto the mirrors, brought some more of that silver chrome trim around the windows, and then a lower sill that actually has just a little bit of extension to it to give it some character on the side, so it's not like a flat slab. I think it's very smart that they have the painted door handles. I'm glad they didn't go with chrome. And then I really love, it's almost like an arrow, how it comes right into this tip here on the rear quarter panel. Coming around the rear fascia, there's those iconic taillights. So great that they put on the different Mazda products. Also think it was smart to take this chrome piece and integrate it into the back of the trunk area. Nice little tasteful kick-up rear spoiler on the trunk. Really, really nice. I mean, look at how it has a nice curve to it. Really think they hit the nail right on the head. And then perfect, just a little bit of gloss black. They didn't bring it up into the rear bumper very high. I think that worked perfect. And then also the dual exhaust just to wrap it off. But let's go ahead and pop the hood and see what's gonna be making sound out this exhaust. All right, guys, the hood is popped on the Mazda 6. One of the things I still can't stand are these pop rods, especially, surprisingly, the hood is quite heavy on this thing to open it up. But once it's up, there's that 2.5 liter inline-4 turbocharged engine sneaking near the back firewall. I'm gonna have Tom swing around to the passenger side and show off the turbo. So this is a 2.5 liter turbocharged engine, 250 horsepower, 310 foot-pounds of torque, made it to, no, not a CVT, a 6-speed automatic transmission. This car weighs around 3,500 pounds or so, 0 to 60, 6.4 seconds, quarter mile, 14.9. And then for those of you who are trying to watch the wallet at the gas pump, you're looking at around 23 in the city and 31 on the highway. So I think Mazda has found a perfect balance with this car, having enough performance, but yet having those good MPGs. And I think it's very smart to use this Sky Active inline-4 turbocharged engine across the series. Now, the one thing I would like to see, and I'm sure many of you, is let's get Tom and get a cherry picker. We're going to pull this engine out and put it in a Mazda 3. Now we're talking. But let's go ahead and fire up this Mazda 6. All right, guys, we're inside the Mazda 6. Come on in. I think you're going to be quite impressed. And this is one place where I think that Mazda does it really well. Restyling of the interior in this Mazda 6. So not only the exterior, but the interior as well. Nice quality. Let's go to the door panels. Leather everywhere you look. I really, really like it. I also like that wood grain texture that's by the silver chrome trim right near the top middle portion of the door. Soft material all over. I even like it's got like a suede, microfiber suede material to the back portion of the door. I think it's really cool how they have the controls angled for you for the window, for the door lock, and the armrest has a nice amount of padding to it. One thing I don't know if you could pick up on the camera is just the nice style there. It's just quality, fit and finish, and materials. As we come inside, soft materials on the dash. I like this faux leather design going on here where you have your 8-inch infotainment screen. You can see 360-degree camera views. I can see fenders. I can see out the front, out the back. I mean, it's a great, great setup for this Mazda 6 for 2019. And this, remember, was all updated for 2018. So nicely done. You got your start-stop button in a very prominent place. You're not going to miss it. Look at this. I want to just rub this all day long. It's like petting a cat. This microfiber, nice suede material going across here. And then very classy dual climate control. You got heated seats, AC ventilated seats, and also a heated steering wheel. Little cubby here. I don't mind it too much because if you notice, it's very flat in unison with this center console that's kind of sunk in, and I like that because they show off this really nice soft leather contrast stitching. You have really cool, almost like a Rolodex style center console door here, 2 cup holders, and then you have a wonderful like a direct drive, kind of like the BMW's iDrive system. So if you go back up to that infotainment screen, it is also touchscreen as well. So if you don't want to use the knob, if you're like anti-knob, then you could use your fingers right on the screen. But if I go into the knob, you have the rainbow of the different settings, which is really nice. You push down, that selects it. It actually is quick reacting and functioning. So I really dig that with this Mazda 6. I also like the finished off cover. This just seems very upscale, very classy. You have a nice padded armrest. Open it up. There we go. 2 USBs, an aux jack, also a 12 volt, and a pretty good sized little cubby. It is felt lined, so it's not going to scratch, your sweetheart's high school ring or whatever, class ring. Seats, love the design. Perforated, nice stitching, a little bit of silver chrome on the back portion of the seat. Obviously, both seats are going to be electric assist and very, very comfortable, yet supportive. Now, to wrap it off, you have a standard size sunroof for both you and your passenger up front. Nothing vitamin D wise for the fans in the back. But why don't you come on over to the business end and I'll show you the steering wheel side of this Mazda 6. All right, guys, business end. This is what it's all about in a Mazda, because Mazda really does do a little extra to give you that great driving feel. I really like the controls for the seat, nice silver. You have your memory settings down here, and then the steering wheel. Great size. I just wish it was a little thicker, for God's sakes, especially just right in this top portion. I really think, though, it's a sexy looking wheel, nice horn button, silver trim, and then the gauge layout really makes sense. You have a nice digital speedometer in the center, you have an analog tach, and then analog fuel gauge and temperature gauge. So that's really nice to see. And just overall, everywhere you look, everywhere you touch, it feels good in here. And I think that's what's gonna help with the overall ownership and driving experience. But probably one of the biggest parts when it comes to a mid-size sedan like this, let's check out those back seats. All right guys, back seat time of this Mazda 6. And you know what, as soon as I get in, quite surprising, lots of leg room. I'm liking that, 6 feet tall, did not move the seat. Now I know a lot of you are probably like, Joe, how much does this cost? MSRP is around $34,000, $35,000 the way that this one sits. And it comes with a lot of niceties. That's what I'm loving. This leather is very, very soft, very supple. I like the way they brought it around the back portion here. It's leather over this leg, and you can even see how they cut out a little bit just to give you a little bit extra leg room. You get a nice pocket down here, rear AC. Now before you get frustrated, where's my USB? I like what Mazda's doing. You pull this down and you have a nice little command center here. Cup holders, heated seats, and then watch this. Bam, 2 USBs. You could run the cord right out and not have any issues of cords dangling in front of you. So that's a really nice feature. Only problem is I would like a panoramic sunroof, especially at this price point, $35,000, Signature Series. But let's go ahead and see how big of a Constitution and Declaration of Independence we could fit in the trunk. All right guys, the back trunk area, very important for any sedan. Real simple to lift and open, very light, and it's great to see Mazda not shying away from their mid-size sedan. You can see how much room you have. I love how large the opening is. You know, with it being the Signature Series, with it being what I'm calling the John Hancock edition, he would be very impressed with how much stuff he could put in the back. But really just great overall functionality. Even things like this is what I like to see. They have nice little levers here to throw down those seats, do the 60-40 split. But if you're ready, I'm ready for the best part of this Mazda 6. Let's go take it for a spin. All right, guys, we're rolling out of Furman Mazda in the 2019 Mazda 6. I love right off the bat, the frameless mirror. Why can't more cars just have this? It's the 21st century. Love the look. The view out the side of the car is great. Across the whole hood, the dash looks really good. You got your heads-up display, because remember, this is fully loaded Signature Edition. I feel good in here. I feel comfortable, and I like that. You do have that inline-4 turbocharged engine, 250 horsepower. Steering wheel, Mazda does a great wheel. I just wish it was just a tad thicker. Just a tad thicker. Other than that though, you have paddles behind the wheel. They are plastic and they're on the smaller side if you want to shift through your own gears manually with that 6-speed auto. I'm going to put it in sport mode. Remember, when you put it in sport mode, that's going to adjust how the transmission does its business with shifting through the gears and whatnot. Also adjust the throttle sensitivity. Once you get on it, really has a great feel. Nice feel from the throttle, gets up and goes. Don't have to wait for the boost to kick in, and it's very smooth. Let's see what it feels like going in this right-hand bend here. Very nice. Remember, it is front-wheel drive, but Mazda is doing some things when it comes to their chassis refinement, when it comes to their suspension engineering. They're doing some wonderful things to get some really great handling out of their front-wheel drive cars. On throttle, brakes feel good, transmission shifts very nicely, and you really feel with every gear, you feel like you're getting projected. It really has a nice sensation of overall speed to it, which is really great. I like the sound coming from the engine. It's not buzzy, it's not annoying, but it has a nice, almost like a throaty rumble to it, believe it or not, which is surprising because we've driven some of the other Mazda products with that 2.5 inline-4 turbocharged engine, and it doesn't have that exact sound to it, the same sound. So just curious what's going on there, but I like it. It's a good curiosity when it comes to the overall sound of the car. Now when it comes to how do you feel when you're behind the wheel, it's really easy to get to everything. Like I said, you could use touchscreen if you want to, or if you want to keep your arm on that nice armrest here, you can go through and use your buttons and the rotary dial to go through the different features of that infotainment screen. You know, I was just thinking for a second, how many cars in this price point do you have this Alcantara style material? It's very nice to see here. It's very soft and it just looks good. I'm really liking what Mazda does with their interiors. Even touches like with the wood on the Signature series and how the air vents integrate into the doors. Very 21st century styling and a nice touch. It makes you really see, hey, they thought these things through, and that's why I know somebody who's looking for a midsize, if you don't want to go the Accord Camry route, this Mazda 6 is really wonderful. Just driving around, very comfortable. I love the visibility out the rear windows, side windows, everything is great. Let me go ahead, I'm going to put it in a manual shift mode. Now you can use the actual shifter itself to go up and down the gears, or you could use those paddles. I'm in sport, and I don't know if you can see it says M4. No, that's not a BMW. That means I'm in 4th gear. I drop down to 3rd. It's cool. It kind of almost looks like a revolving number that's going down, and really positive action. But you wait for these people to pull in front of you, and then you roll on throttle. She goes. I mean, it's got plenty of pep in a car that weighs 3,500 pounds. Steering feel is great. I'm telling you, that's where Mazda really does their homework with the overall steering feel in their cars. All right, guys, we're rolling out 2nd gear on the throttle. Let's see how she feels in this left-hand bend. Great feedback from the steering wheel. I'm really liking it. Paddles, you shift on the paddle and then it actually shifts. So there is a delay. Let me see on the downshift. Downshift is a little bit quicker than upshift, but definitely on the upshift, it has a little bit of a lag to it. This isn't a DCT, so sometimes that is to be expected. And to be honest with you, the people who drive a Mazda 6, I would probably say a low percentage of them would actually be shifting through their own gears. All right, guys, we're in 1st gear. I'm gonna do a little acceleration test. So I roll on the throttle, 2nd, 3rd. Like I said, there's a little bit of a lag. Let's check out the brakes. On the brakes, down the 2nd. Actually handles pretty well considering the size. It was a little soft. I'm not expecting, this isn't some Mazda Speed 6 version, but it could do with a little bit stiffer springs up front, especially if you're gonna crank it in to a right-hand bend like that, because there was a little bit of push and the car had quite a bit of lean to it. But overall though, it felt planted. I didn't feel like I was out of control or anything like that. It's just, that's not the intentions of this car. Let's be honest, what I just did, most people are not gonna do, but I just wanted to get a feel for the actual dynamics and handling of this Mazda 6, just to share that with you so that you knew what you were getting into if you were gonna buy one of these. But I'm just gonna put it back in automatic mode, which I feel it obviously shifts really well in automatic mode rather than using the paddle. So I say just get rid of the paddles. On the throttle, very smooth. Love the heads-up display. Ventilated seats feel great. It's got the full suite of safety features. And I like the way that they have the sport mode. You could really feel a difference when driving this car between the sport mode, and if I take it out of sport, it feels, I don't want to say like a totally different car, but definitely the gearbox does its business in a little bit different fashion than when you're in the sport mode. But I do like the overall weight of the steering wheel, and I do like the feedback that I am getting from the front wheels. It's just, like I said, this is not a Mazda Speed 6. So you're not, when it comes to overall handling on a tight, twisty road or road course, it does have quite a bit of lean to it. But overall, still very comfortable, very quiet. That's another thing. For 2018, when they redesigned this, they added more sound deadening. So you could really not hear what's going on, and that's a good thing. It's nice and quiet in the cabin. But we're gonna go ahead, get back to Furman Mazda, and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, another masterful day here at Furman Mazda. Definitely got to give a huge thank you to Matt and Rob, opening up the doors, letting us access to these Japanese imports from Mazda. If these are the types of cars you like to see on Rainey's Rides, leave a comment in that comment section. If you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you. Thank you for being part of the Rainey's Rides family. Check out my different forms of social media. You know what they're called. If you want to get yourself some merch, click that link in the description. Takes you right to Spreadshirt. We got to give it up to Big Guns McGee, Tom Moschner, getting ready for his competition, lifting weights and taking photos. Check out his Instagram page at Mosh Photos. Thank you, Tom, for your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.